You might have noticed we've been making a lot of videos about the future of AI, like this one, and even these ones, which are secretly just allegories for ideas from AI safety research. We've been focusing so much on AI because we think it could become a uniquely powerful technology, capable of radically transforming civilization. We also worry that if AI development goes wrong, the creation of misaligned superintelligent machines could lead to human extinction. If AI will be as important as we suspect, what should society do to reduce the odds of catastrophe? What laws should be enacted? What should world leaders be saying? What decisions should the CEOs of AI labs be making? Well, these are pretty hard questions, and the answers aren't obvious. At least, they aren't obvious to us. If scientific experts are worried that future AI with terrifying godlike intelligence might destroy civilization, one pretty obvious-seeming approach would be, maybe just don't build an AI with terrifying godlike intelligence. Just make helpful, normal AI tools, like the ones that exist today, and then just stop before you risk creating a nightmare superintelligence that takes over the world. Various people think along these lines, and perhaps the loudest among them is the activist group Pause AI. Their main ask is to, quote, implement a temporary pause on the training of the most powerful general AI systems until we know how to build them safely and keep them under democratic control, end quote. They hope to achieve this mainly by asking for strong international regulations on AI, although they've also led protests aimed at companies like Meta and OpenAI, urging them to halt development of new cutting-edge AI models. Until our AI alignment techniques are strong enough to ensure AI will share humanity's values, Pause AI says that deploying bigger models is irresponsible. But this basic strategy, avoiding catastrophe by just not building catastrophically powerful AI, is fiercely debated, even among AI safety researchers. Let's explore why. AI risk is hard to agree on. First, let's say you're trying to convince the world to stop development of the next generation of AI models. Step one is to convince people that the risks to society outweigh the potential benefits. But people disagree wildly about the nature and severity of AI risk and how soon it might arrive. With a technology like nuclear weapons, everyone can understand the threat just by looking at the mushroom cloud. But artificial superintelligence hasn't been built yet, so the danger feels hypothetical and uncertain. It's like when scientists tried to warn about the possibility of nuclear war before anyone had built a bomb, just by talking about the atomic properties of radioactive materials. Right now, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei expects that AI might surpass humans at software programming before 2027. Many experts believe similarly that human-level AI could arrive soon, and fear that this achievement might kick off an accelerating feedback loop, where AI-enhanced scientific research helps us build better and better AI faster and faster, quickly leading us to create dangerous, misaligned superintelligence. Once that process starts, it could progress too quickly for us to do much about it. So we're effectively approaching the edge of a cliff, past which we lose control. To prepare for this, former OpenAI researcher Leopold Aschenbrenner says we need a crash program to unify the leading AI labs, hugely upgrade their cybersecurity, and focus them on solving the problem of AI alignment. But not everyone is convinced that superintelligence is right around the corner. Economists like Tyler Cowen predict that AI's impact on society will lift economic growth by merely 0.5% a year, as tools only a bit better than today's chatbots are slowly integrated into fields like healthcare and education. There are further debates about how hard it will be to align or control advanced AI. Some venture capitalists completely reject the idea that AI could ever pose an existential risk to humanity, seeing AI as merely a tool for humans to use. But lots of AI experts warn that smarter-than-human AI would be much harder to align than today's chatbots. We've made videos about a few of the ways that AI could end up with misaligned goals, which could ultimately lead to deceptive, power-seeking behavior. But there's still a lot we don't know about the severity of those problems and how hard it'll be to solve them. Disagreements over these issues probably won't get resolved anytime soon. People tend not to change their minds until the evidence is totally overwhelming, and we probably won't get overwhelming evidence of a problem until it's already happening. That'll make it hard for society to collectively identify the moment when we're on the cusp of creating dangerously powerful AI and take coordinated action. In fact, it's unlikely we'll even get consensus on the location of the cliff's edge until we've already fallen off it, at which point it's too late to do much about it. Unfortunately, it will be very tempting to try to tiptoe right up to that edge. As AI gets smarter, it will get more useful for discovering new medicines, automating difficult tasks, and making myriad other improvements to society. Things might just get better and better until AI becomes powerful enough to escape human control, and things suddenly get much worse. Pause AI says that, considering the dire consequences of waiting until it's too late, we should err on the side of caution by pausing the biggest AI training runs right now. Arms races and adverse selection. The idea of pausing AI development gets a good amount of support in surveys of the public, but it's definitely unpopular among the companies developing frontier models, who are expecting to make big profits from creating ever more powerful AIs. But even if the CEO of a leading lab was persuaded to stop developing larger AI models, it might not change the big picture. That's because other competing labs might see a competitor pausing as a golden opportunity to race ahead and seize the lead. Now the situation is even worse than before. If the most responsible companies all refrain from developing dangerously powerful AI, then dangerously powerful AI will still be created, just a little bit later, by another company that's less cautious about the risk of catastrophe. But we can solve this, right? Most of the world's top AI labs are in the United States. Couldn't the USA just pass some laws to set strict standards for AI safety? This could stop the arms race between competing companies, so we could take our time learning how to make AI controllable, interpretable, and aligned to human values before we ever built anything dangerous. Mission accomplished. Well, maybe, but this approach might just recreate the same problem on a global scale. If the USA slowed frontier AI development, eventually labs in other countries would catch up. And just like before, you'd have problems with adverse selection. The most reckless nations with the fewest safety regulations might take the lead. A global moratorium? Ultimately, if you want to stop the world from racing headlong towards creating dangerous superintelligence, you'll need to do more than convince one company, or even an entire country. You'll need an international consensus that brings together every major nation. But it's hard for rival nations to cooperate, especially in situations like this, where a country that races to deploy advanced AI might be rewarded with a long-term economic and military advantage. Imagine that you're a national leader, and you've signed an international agreement to stop developing potentially dangerous larger frontier models. But you're very worried that a rival superpower is breaking the deal, secretly continuing to scale AI capabilities and using it to design elaborate cyber attacks, swarms of unmanned fighter jets, and sophisticated bioweapons. You might feel intense pressure to break the deal yourself and join the arms race just to stay competitive. For this reason, some have argued that cooperation between rival superpowers is impossible, that Western nations should therefore embrace the arms race in order to stay ahead, even if it means rolling the dice on AI risk. Nevertheless, organizations including Pause AI and MIRI, the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, advocate for exactly this kind of global cooperation to prevent the development of artificial superintelligence. In an influential Time magazine letter, MIRI co-founder Eliezer Yudkowsky argued that once world leaders understand the terrible consequences of misaligned superintelligence, if anyone builds it, everyone dies, they'll realize that it makes no sense to race. Instead, it will be in each country's interest to work together to prevent disaster. It's similar to the idea underpinning nuclear non-proliferation treaties. Humanity realized that letting every country race to acquire nuclear weapons would eventually end in catastrophe, so we instead decided to cooperate to safeguard civilization. But even if humanity agreed on a global superintelligence moratorium, that policy probably couldn't keep working forever. Each year, as technical knowledge spreads about how to build AI, and as computing hardware gets faster and cheaper, the ingredients for creating superintelligence will become more common. To keep enforcing the moratorium would demand increasingly severe restrictions over time. Even if we thought it was acceptable to have stricter and stricter measures ramping up for decades, eventually they would fail. Whether it's a rogue nation or a small team of renegade researchers, eventually somebody would probably figure out how to sneak around the ban and develop superintelligent AI without getting caught. Yet again, we face the problem of adverse selection. Whoever finally manages to deploy superintelligent AI is probably more reckless than all the people complying with the moratorium. Worse yet, since they'd be working in secret, they'd be unable to ask for any outside feedback about flaws in their AI designs, even if they wanted to. Eventually, we have to solve alignment. Alright, let's take a step back. The basic idea of avoiding doom by not building the doom machine turns out to be a lot harder than it sounds. If it's possible to build superintelligent AI, somebody will eventually do it. Our real task is to ensure that when this happens, the resulting AI is aligned with human values. Advocates of a pause, of course, recognize this. Their goal isn't to prevent the technology from ever happening. Instead, by advocating for slower, more careful AI development, they hope to buy time for researchers to develop stronger techniques for creating safer AI. If humanity accidentally builds a misaligned superintelligence, we probably won't get the chance to try again, so we'd better make sure we get it right the first time. The importance of this technical work is also why, here at Rational Animations, we've been focusing so much on exploring the AI alignment problem. Spreading knowledge about technical obstacles like specification gaming and goal misgeneralization seems robustly helpful. These problems need to be solved, regardless of what laws get passed or what different countries choose to do. They're on the critical path for navigating to a thriving future. What else can society do to prepare? But in addition to technical AI safety research, there are a couple of other actions that seem likely to be useful, whatever you think about pausing. One of them is model evaluations, or evals. Many people say that humanity should keep a close eye on AI's evolving capabilities by rigorously evaluating newly developed models. If your latest AI turns out to have a surprising talent for finding zero-day exploits in software used by hospitals and nuclear power plants, that's the kind of thing you'd want to know before putting the finished model up on the internet for anyone to use. For that reason, labs like Anthropic and Google DeepMind have already made third-party evaluations an important part of their AI safety policies. And beyond simply preventing misuse, closely studying AI's abilities could help solve a problem we mentioned earlier, the fact that AI risk is so hard to agree on. Model evaluations could demonstrate very strong forms of misalignment, or unearth incredibly dangerous skills like bioweapons design. This early warning might spur AI labs and governments to take valuable actions that otherwise wouldn't have happened until a real-world disaster occurred. Another measure that seems at least as robust as evals is to upgrade the cybersecurity of leading AI companies. Suppose a frontier AI company has some lead over its competitors, and it wants to take some time to make its most advanced models safer. That doesn't do much good if, while it's doing that, its model is immediately stolen by less careful competitors, or even rogue nations or terrorist groups. Or for that matter, what if the AI itself hacks out of the data center it's hosted on, replicating via the internet while scheming up plans to gain more resources? Without cybersecurity measures that you can trust, slowing down might not do much good. We can try to prevent these scenarios by upgrading the cybersecurity of top labs to an extreme level. Think top-secret military projects rather than a typical startup. What can you do? So, what can you do about all this? Cybersecurity and capability evaluations are just two of the many, many ideas that are being debated and refined through research, public discussion, and the efforts of top labs themselves. Developing superintelligent AI might be the most consequential moment in human history, but nobody yet has a good plan for making sure it goes right. Certainly, we don't have all the answers here at the YouTube channel Rational Animations. AI is moving so fast that there's a good chance the strategic situation has changed just in the time it took us to make this video. But one thing we do feel confident about is that more people should understand the emerging debates about how society should navigate AI development. If people like you have a deeper understanding of these issues, then society can have a more sophisticated conversation about them. If you're interested to learn more and try to help, our top recommendation is for viewers to take the AI Safety courses by Blue Dot Impact at AISafetyFundamentals.com. The courses consist of a selection of readings curated by experts in AI safety. They're totally free, and you can just read through them at your own pace. There's also a live version run remotely, where you have weekly calls with a facilitator and others doing the course. Plenty of Blue Dot alumni have gone on to work full-time in AI safety, so it's a great place to start.